Blog Talk Radio.
Uh-huh. Queenin'. Where's my crown? We sweet, we cute, we clean, we cool, we queen, we rule, we be the truth. We sweet, we cute, we clean, we cool, we queen, we rule, we be the truth. Queened up, supremed up, wear the crown, shut it down. Queened up, supremed up, wear the crown, shut it down. Queened up, supremed up, wear the crown, shut it down. Queened up, supremed up, wear the crown, shut it down. Let me in, let me in, let me go, let me show you know what I got is crazy. She a beast with a bar and it goes so hard. She rap but she act like a lady. If you pass that mic then you might not like when you get it back. Just saying, too hot to touch, too high to reach. I guess I'm like a flame. They did not see me coming. Just let me show you something. I'm sick, I spit, I'm ill, I'm L and well, it's disgusting. I'm on a brand new board and lately I've been feeling wavy. Long hair, don't care, my faith is great. I'm such a effing lady. I know you see me and you hate me, baby. It's all gravy. I serve a king of kings and represent the one who made me. I represent the Prince of Peace and King of Feasts who rose from death and beat the beast. I sip the juice and eat the yeast. Yeah. We sweet, we cute, we clean, we cool, we queen, we rule, we be the truth. We sweet, we cute, we clean, we cool, we queen, we rule, we be the truth. Queened up, supremed up, wear the crown, shut it down. Queened up, supremed up, wear the crown, shut it down. Queened up, supremed up, wear the crown, shut it down. Queened up, supremed up, wear the crown, shut it down.
She got that crown, racing her walk, spit that histamine. Melanin brown, lace them in chalk with that Ethylene. Winning, handling business, making decisions, riding with royalty. Looking delicious, ooh, she ambitious, God keep on calling me. Rich is her father, and she the daughter, living in water. Submarine, evil don't bother, she know the author, came in to slaughter. Guillotine, top of her class, top of her game, elevated. Mezzanine, shop with the bags, drop with the queens, and we taking everything. Ball cap to my head wrap, weave down to my shoe strap. Nails purse to my lip gloss, world loving this stick sauce. All caps in these bread backs. She brownie like 2 snacks. Wells first and we dip off. By haters, I'm that boss.
We sweet, we cute, we clean, we cool, we queen, we rule, we be the truth. We sweet, we cute, we clean, we cool, we queen, we rule, we be the truth. Queened up, supremed up, wear the crown, shut it down. Queened up, supremed up, wear the crown, shut it down. Queened up, supremed up, wear the crown, shut it down. Queened up, supremed up, wear the crown, shut it down.
Putting the charge, I kick with the bars. Hey, God has been God, I gotta go hard like them boys. Making noise, shoulda pull up with boys. Up for the 10 crown, 6 black, double magic. Woman of God, walk by the spirit, no blind. Serving for something's a job, and when they pour salt on your work hard, remind of your work hard, so that hard work better pay off. Dust off your elegant garms and give them that charm that set you apart from that. Living low on a bad one, hey, hubby know I'm a bad one. Like phone closed, then I own a stove, so the J Cole with a great view. Woo! Now I'm a mom too, gotta know my role motto, cause she's saying everything that I do, so I show a queen whenever I move. Ay.
You were tuned in to another episode of Endie Fiya right here with your host, Nakia. Yeah, that's me. Y'all ever just been lost for words and you just can't get them out? Yeah, that's what happened to me just then. You were just listening to Keisha Beard. That was Queenie. You may remember we had Keisha on the show earlier this year. She is a urban rapper, hip-hop Christian artist. She's also a teacher. She's a youth leader. She got a lot going on for her out here in Seattle, Washington. So big up to Miss Keisha Beard for always holding us down right here on Endie Fiya. We touched upon last week some subjects, and normally, I remember everything, but I've been reading so much news lately that I don't remember what we talked about last week. I know that, and I'm sorry, let me back up because we were here Tuesday night. So I did ask for your prayers for the family of Andre Hope, my former co-host here known as King, who was fatally wounded in just a horrific incident in Tampa, Florida on early last Sunday morning. And so as his family prepares to lay him to rest, he does leave behind 5 children, one on the way, his girlfriend, his parents, sisters, many loved ones, and an abundance of friends. So, while you're getting your morning prayer in, your afternoon prayer, your evening prayer, just send one up for Andre Hope's family, that, as we endure or as they endure the days ahead of them, they will be granted with the strength that they need to be able to just endure. His funeral has been set for April the 12th in Tampa, Florida. There is a GoFundMe that has been set up. If you're on social media with me, you've seen it posted. And you can also just put in Justice for Dre, Z-R-E, and it'll pop up as well if you aren't able to find the link on any of my social media pages. We did mention Jussie Smollett and, his case and how everything had been dropped. And now there may be some more charges, civil charges, as well as the federal investigation, that may pop up as well. So continue to keep him in your prayers as well. He dodged this bullet here. And you guys know how I felt about the situation from day one. I'm thankful that things worked out in his favor. So I'm just, hoping that things will continue to work out in his favor. I do want to talk about an incident that occurred on Monday in South Carolina. I don't quite remember the name of the town, but I know the county is Walterboro County. All right. A 5th grader, 10-year-old girl, was in a fight in the classroom with another classmate, maybe 1 or 2 other classmates. And the details, they're not really coming out with all of the details, but the paramedics were called, and the little girl was found unconscious in the nurse's office. And so they took her to the local hospital, where they immediately had to airlift her to the bigger medical university, which is in Charleston, South Carolina. And she passed away on yesterday. I was reading a young lady's comments who seemed to really know a lot that went on that led up to that fight. And she didn't seem to be a family member, but she knew a lot that went on, so she may have possibly worked within the school system. But apparently there have been a lot of bullying that have been going on. And these other children that were involved, have been warned, and their parents have been to the school, and, they all talked through this, how they have been bullying this little girl. But then it led to this fight, which eventually led to her death. Now, today I saw that no weapons were involved, because that's the first thing people are wondering. Like, well, they were fighting. We're talking about 10-year-olds, 10 and 11-year-olds. They're fighting. What happened to her that, that she passed away? Were there weapons involved? And so, the police have said there were no weapons involved. We don't know if she had some type of health issue, that the agitation of the fight may have provoked, that. And we don't know any of that, because they're keeping all of that, under wraps. But a lot of people were mad because, they said it doesn't matter the age of these kids. They ultimately, this fight, their bullying, which led to a fight, ultimately led to the death of this 10-year-old. And so they felt that these children should be, they should be arrested. Right now, no one's been arrested. There's been one child suspended, but no one knows if that child actually was involved in the fight. And so a lot of, I'm just reading a lot of comments, a lot of hostile people, just saying that, they felt like these children should be arrested and they should be charged. I feel that they should suffer, or they should have to deal with their consequences, I would say, because you have, these parents that are about to lay their 10-year-old child to rest because the child was bullying. And I'm assuming, again, I'm having to assume because nothing's being laid out for us to read, but I would have to assume that she finally had enough, and she stood up and she said, this is what it is, and this is what happened. Now, I said all that to say, as we talk about many different platforms up here, but I said that to say, we always tell our children, if you see bullying that is going on, our younger children, if you see bullying that is going on, step up. If you don't feel like you can step up to that person and be like, hey, that's my friend, back up, then there's always adults. That's what they're in place for you to go to those adults and be like, this, my friend's being bullied. But what happens when the adult is the bully to the child? I'll give you a little story really quick because I really want to get into this interview with my special guest this evening. My daughter talking about yesterday how several fights broke out yesterday at her school, off-site, and at the end of the conversation, she says, a friend that she's been, a young man that she's been friends with since probably 6th or 7th grade, has this huge gash in his forehead, like over his eye, like his eyebrow was split, and he has this huge gash, and nobody knows why, right? So today she comes home, and she's like, Mom, I found out what happened to him. And I said, okay, what happened? So he was in the mall parking lot, and, traffic was a little thick, so he decided I'm going to back up and go another way. So he backed up, and he got ready to turn to go out another way, and he accidentally hit the back of somebody else's car. I'm not talking about doing 55 miles per hour. We're in a parking lot, all right? He's about to pull off, so maybe 10 miles an hour. So he stops, parks his car to get out to apologize to the man, and the man begins to beat him, punching him in the face, knocking him to the ground, stomping on him. All right, so I'm asking my daughter, like, were there witnesses? Did he get, any information on the guy? Did he get his tag? My daughter doesn't know anything. Well, this young man posted today because after the event happened, he, of course, had to go to the emergency room. And he posted today that he wasn't going to talk about it. He was just going to let it go because a lot of people don't make it out of situations like that. But the fact that God was so merciful to him and allowed him to walk away, he felt that he needed to speak upon it. And so this 36-year-old man was pissed off because this young man tapped the back of his car. And before he could get his, my apologies out, can we look at the back of your car? Can we look at the front of my car? This man just starts pummeling on him. 36 years old, and this young man is 19. So at what point does, bullying goes from every level. It affects everybody, and you never know. And I'm thankful that he did, it wasn't worse than what it could have been. And God was merciful and didn't allow this deranged man to, act upon him in any other kind of way than what he did. But, the fact that this young man is using this to bring awareness to violence that is going on, and like I was saying, it doesn't matter. It's not the elementary school. It's not just the high school. It's not the middle school. It's adults bullying adults, and then there's adults bullying kids. And so, at some point, we all need to come back to humanity and civilization. And this isn't right. And people always say, what, it all happened. It all started to happen when, they took prayer out of the school. And, I believe with all of me that you have the capability to pray anywhere. All right? God gives us all free will. So you have the capability to pray anywhere. In any situation, you have the authority to pray your way through any situation. So I don't think that's a good response to that right there. The world was going to hell in a handbasket a long time ago before they took prayer out of school. And my kids go to a private Christian school. Well, one of them does. And so prayer's still in schools. Kids still pray in school, believe it or not. They got to take tests. They're praying. They're putting that word out before they take their test. So I'm going to sum all of this up just to say that, we should be mindful. Just be mindful of our actions, our reactions, because they all have consequences. So I'm going to say on that. So I'm going to say. I was about to get on my big high ladder over here and start preaching for y'all. And y'all ain't ready for that. Y'all ain't ready for that because I ain't really ready, but y'all ain't ready for that. But I want to talk about my guest today. I'm super excited because, the past couple of weeks, we had one last week, and then we had the one the week before. So this is the third author that we've had on this show. And I'm just in awe because all of know, the mission behind Endie Fiya is to be able to allow all independent communities, not just the ones that I work in, but all independent, to be able to provide them a platform or an additional platform for them to be able to express however it is that they express their brands and to promote their brands, not only to our listening audience, but the fan base that they could possibly build just by being on the show. So I'm just excited. And I was telling our guests, how the writing community, when my guest tonight kind of fell out, the writing community all just stepped up and were, like sharing my post and, and I actually had several say, I want to be on, but this young lady here, she beat them all out. I'm talking about urban Christian fiction author and blogger. I'm probably going to say her name wrong. She's going to correct me. But Nell is an author, a blogger, a reader, a speaker. She's always searching for a great read that draws you in. But when your screen goes blank, Lord, look at the devil. All right, hold on. Here we go. All right. She's always searching for a great read that draws you in, but does not draw you away from the Christian lifestyle. As a believer, she is mindful of the atmosphere she creates for herself and the messages that she entertains. She admits she is mindful, but not perfect. Chanel does have secular music and reading in her diet. However, she chooses to feast on Christian reading and music daily. In a quest for edification and entertainment, she learned about the urban Christian fiction genre. It was in the pages of these books that she found the drama that not only satisfied the hunger for a juicy story, but also filled her desire for spiritual truth. In the summer of 2017, she began a blog where she reviewed Christian fiction and interviewed Christian authors and readers. In the fall of 2017, she signed to Anointed Inspirations Publishing, and her debut book, A Good Thing, was released in October 2017. Chanel is a wife, a mother, and a daughter of the King. She lives in Tampa, Florida with her husband and 3 daughters. Chanel is the author of the A Good Thing series, which includes Book 1, A Good Thing, Book 2, A Good Thing 2, If I Be Lifted, and Book 3, A Good Thing 3, Vengeance is Mine. Joyful Noise, The Hot Mess Choir, The Devil Thought He Had Me, and she's a contributor to the anthology Black Love Magic. Endie Fiya listening audience, I present to you today, right here on Endie Fiya, my guest, urban Christian fiction author and blogger, Chanel.
Hello.
How are you?
I am wonderful. How are you?
I am well. All right, so first thing first, pronounce your name for me.
It's actually, you did it right. It's actually Chanel.
Chanel. So it's just like you see it. Chanel.
Yes, just like you see it.
All right. I want to jump right into this. Thank you for being patient, because every now and again I touch upon a topic and it just takes me far left, and this one kind of hit close to home with this young man, being my daughter's friend, and just, that just happening to him. So I don't want to prolong.
No, I'm in total agreement. Everyone wants to argue they took prayer out of school, but as long as you have prayer in your house, your children are going to pray wherever they are. It's a learned habit.
That's right.
So I totally agree with you. If you have prayer in your house, then you have prayer in school, because your kids know who to go to when things get rough, when they start testing and start bullying and stuff. So I'm totally in agreement. I was amening while I was on hold.
So now I see that we look at later years, like 2017, I see in your bio. But when did you first realize that you could be a writer?
Oh, wow. I was pretty young. My mother's an avid reader, so she raised us to be avid readers. And, I was in love with the Scholastic Book Fair growing up as a kid. But at a certain point, I got tired of reading about, Jessica and Elizabeth and ponies. Like, no urban people got ponies. We just don't have no ponies.
Right.
So I was just tired of reading that, and I went to complain that it wasn't that I didn't want to read. I didn't have anything to read. And my mother said, well, if you don't have anything to read, why don't you write something? And I started writing there. I was in about middle school then. And I started writing, and it just flourished from there. I wrote all through high school. I wrote all through college, and I just continued to write. It's just when it's in you, it's in you, you know? Hello?
So, you mentioned Scholastic.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
you
I can hear you. I'm
Scholastic
sorry.
Books and the Scholastic Book Fair. I was the book fair mom for my kids, I don't know, 6, 7, 8, 9 years. And that's where my children, they gained their love and their passion for, just reading. But I find that they're in the same predicament right now. I mean, there's more. When we're probably the same age. So when we were growing up, there weren't a lot of books that were centered around things that were going on in our lives, quote unquote.
Yeah.
So I found my children, trying to just dibble and dabble and talk about, just life experiences that they are going through. So I can understand where you're coming from when you said, like your mother said, if you don't find the avenue, then you have to take a detour and make that path for yourself. And I think that's very important. That's very important. Do you write daily?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Do you write on a daily basis? Are you consistent with your writing?
I am. I try to write something. Either I'm working for the blog or I'm writing my own, my next, what's next in my plate, or I'm journaling. So, yeah, there's always some type of writing going on.
Now, I know that you have the series with the 3 books in the series.
Mhm.
What made you? I mean, most people. Did you have a game plan in the beginning? Did you know I'm going to write a series, or did you know I'm going to just sit down and write this book? And at the end of that one, you felt, okay, something else needs to be told. And then at the end of the second one, you felt like, okay, something else needs to be told. What is your, what was your pathway when you sat down and wrote the Good Things series?
Actually, it's kind of weird. I wrote the first book knowing halfway through that I was going to write the second book. And I just thought I was going to be one, two combo, and I was going to be done and move on to something else. The fans, the readers, actually had a lot of questions after the second book about one of the characters that was very influential in the first book, but he kind of faded out during the second book. He wasn't a major character that I thought, but a lot of the readers were like, whatever happened to Cass? I would have, and I had good Christian-minded people telling me, I would have kicked his butt because he was so mean, and I would have done this to him, and I would have done that. And I was like, really? Because, we were in church, and you just said hallelujah. But okay. So that's where the title, Vengeance is Mine, comes from, because the third book is really about redemption and about how we can, kind of like a young man said, yes, I could take this a step further, but vengeance is the Lord. And what God can do to somebody, how God chooses to, revenge or avenge, what I have going on is completely different and more impactful than what I, in my human mind, like to do to a person.
That is not only the gospel word that you just spoke, but that spoken word right there, I found myself having to, the older I get, because when I was younger, I was a firebomb. People might tell you that I'm still one now, but I find that, the older I get, you have to sit back and let him handle your situations for you. And I've always been the type of person where I got to handle everything. I got to handle everything for you and for you and for you myself, never sitting back and just letting him take total control and handling those situations. And so, yes, when the Lord decides to deal with the individual, it's far worse. And people think, he's gonna, and I will quote this and put this in quotations. He's going to whoop that individual way worse than you ever could have done so physically. So I completely I get it. I get it. And you mentioned something. You church folks was right there in church, and you was just amening and hallelujah. And now you're talking about this character should have beat them up or beat their butt or whatever. In Christian fiction, how do you balance keeping the message strong and focused, but still be able to reach your readers beyond the church or beyond the Christian bookstore? Like, say, for instance, like I read Christian fiction, but it's not something that I'm going to pick up every day. When you write, what is it that you put into your message that is able to pull not only those on the church pews with you, but, those in the secular world as well?
I think that with all of us in the writing community, the key is to just be authentic and be real. I try to put the truth in my characters, as I see them, as the Holy Spirit gives me guidance, but definitely trying to be as real as possible. I think that a lot of times we get caught up in the religious aspect of things, and we forget that God is real. He meets you exactly where you are. So it's not about, trying to put on airs or trying to, be super sanctified or anything like that, because he's going to meet you where you are, and he's love. At the end of the day, God is love, and God wants to love you. So he's not going to browbeat you. That's not how God comes to us. It's commonplace. We say God is a gentleman, He's going to allow you to come to him, and he's going to be right there at whatever time you come to him. So for me personally, it's just really trying to keep my characters relatable and authentic.
Writers are often encouraged to write what they know. And keeping your characters relatable and authentic, have your real life experiences impacted the type of writing that you present to your readers, or the stories that you blog about?
So I've experienced, I guess a little bit in all instances. In keeping everybody, you want to keep the reader engaged, but for me in particular, I want to show the reader something that I'm passionate about, but I don't want it to be too overly zealous or overly religious, if that makes sense.
Completely. Describe your writing process. I know I spoke to one author, and they said, I have to have an outline before I start. And somebody else said, no, I kind of freestyle. Whatever pops into my head, then I just write, and that's what I do on a daily basis, hoping that all of that collectively comes together. What's your writing process like?
My writing process starts with a trip to Michael's craft store. Shout out to Michael's if they want to sponsor a sister. I go to Michael's, and they have these cute little $2 notebooks. Just $2, and they're little tiny notebooks that I purchase for each book, and that's where I outline. I do a character breakdown. I have to have I'm kind of hybrid. Like, I have a structure. I know that, in this chapter, this is going to happen, and this is the turning point. Now, I don't go on and outline every nuance and, everything that, in this chapter, this is what's going to be the turning point, this is what's going to happen. And then I let the characters do a lot of the speaking, and the scene and the setting kind of come alive, and I write from there. But I definitely start out with a little book that has all of my notes in it.
How do you select your characters?
Oh, that's a wonderful question. Characters for me come from a little bit of everybody. So I'll take, you know, someone's voice pattern, their cadence when they speak. And then I'll see someone else that looks interesting and, how they walk or, how this gentleman or this woman interacts with. And all of that kind of forms one person for me. So it's a little bit of everyone that I've ever seen that kind of morphs into, whichever character I'm writing about at the time.
Is it difficult for you? I know authors that have to write from many different perspectives. First person, second person. But when you have to write from the male perspective, is that difficult for you at all?
Don't do it.
For me, I try to switch it up just because I don't want to kind of get too comfortable. My last two books were told in first person, so the characters told the story. This latest book I'm working on, and my first three were third person and omnipresent because I knew everything that was going on, so I knew all of the characters' thoughts and things. So it allows you to kind of paint a clear picture. I can't say I have a favorite. It depends on the tone and the structure and what the book is supposed to do.
Okay. Well, we have a caller. And,
wonderful.
I'm going to connect the caller. Now, if you choose not to speak, I understand. Everybody's not as vocal as I am. We'll just sit back and let you ride with us for the remainder of the show. But I am going to add you to the call right now. This is Endie Fiya.
Hey,
You're live
up?
with Nakia. How are you?
Hey, what's going on, Chanel? Hey, Nakia, what's up? This is Fred. This is Frederick. How you doing, sweetie?
How you doing?
Hey, how are you?
Hey, I am good. Just called into number one, enjoy the show, and also just give a big shout out to one of my literary sister, Chanel, and also my second favorite sister now, Nakia. So I mean, you guys are welcome. You welcome. I've known she now for at least maybe probably about a year, probably more than that now. And just to know that she is a phenomenal individual, author. We actually did a book event together in out here in Tampa. Actually last year, December, and it was such a phenomenal experience for both for me. I know it was even better experience for her.
Definitely. The writing community is awesome.
It is.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
It's funny how things align for different reasons. That book event really put the people that needed to be there. I know Nell, Shantae, and then another person, Miss Stephanie, for a good minute, and for us to be put together in that scene was wonderful, and it was a really good experience. But I am not going to take up you guys' time. I really wanted to give a shout out to both of you guys, because you guys are Nakia. You doing big things, girl. Chanel, she got another book out, man. Kuda, man, big ups to you on that one too.
Thank you.
So I just wanted to wish you congratulations, sister. Much continued success in everything that you endeavor to do.
Thank you.
You are welcome. You are very, very welcome.
Well, stay tuned in.
Most definitely.
Thank you for calling.
No problem.
So he mentioned your new book.
Yes.
So I'm assuming he's talking about and I mean new. We have New Music Mondays on the show where we debut new releases from independent artists. But we it's not Monday, but it's, it's still New Music Month, and I believe that writing, because music is a form of expression, and writing as an author is also a form of expression. So we're going to incorporate this book in New Music Month. The book entitled "The Devil Thought He Had Me." Yes, "The Devil Thought He Had Me" was released on the 9th of March. Correct?
Yes, it was released on the 9th.
And I always try to read.
Go ahead.
I always read up, in advance on my guests that are coming in and know everything about them. But, I've had just a couple days to learn about you. So I didn't get a chance to fully engulf myself in this book like I want to. But just from where I got, I want to talk about, because I was trying to identify with which of the 4 ladies was me. And then I was like, wait a minute. Just in reading, the back cover of the book, that could be me. And now she could be me too. And I said 3 out of the 4 are me. So if you want to talk about the book, I was going to talk about it myself, but if you, the author, would go ahead and just talk about "The Devil Thought He Had Me," and where'd the book come from, first of all, and then just a quick synopsis on the journey that is going to take the reader through the lives of these women.
Okay, well, the book, it came from series of relationships, and not just my relationships, but relationships that I had witnessed either on TV or in person, or just heard about. And I was in study, and it dawned on me, or the Holy Spirit spoke to me, and God is a relational God. God wants a relationship with you. At the end of the day, He just wants a relationship. And I had heard that, whenever God wants to bless you, He sends people. And whenever the enemy wants to distract you, he sends people. So it kind of evolved out of the thought of, here I am, a woman, trying to have a productive life, raise my kids, do what I have to do. And here comes a distraction. Sometimes it's work. In one of the women's cases, it's, money. Money's her distraction. A lot of times it's relationships. And in 3 of the women's cases, it's definitely a relationship with different people. And they come to the realization that they're whole and they're complete, whether the relationship exists or not. And I think that just speaks volumes to a lot of women. We need to understand that we're whole and complete, regardless of the status that we have. And then when we connect to the Father, then we're definitely in a good position. So that if He chooses to bless us with a mate, that's wonderful. But if not, I'm still good. Because I have everything I need. It's not a timeline thing. A lot of times, we get stuck on our timeline. Oh, I'm 30 and I'm not married yet. And I'm 40 and I don't have a house. And we get caught up on all these timelines when, in fact, it is just that God is relational. And if you yield your life to Him, everything will work out. And everything working out doesn't necessarily mean that you'll get a ring or you'll get a house, but you'll still have peace. The book takes place in Tampa. This is the first book that I wrote. First in Tampa, it tells the story of 4 women who each are single moms in the beginning of the book, and they're single moms at different levels. School is just trying to, put all the pieces back together. You have another one who is very creative, but she's kind of put her creativity to the side to take care of her children. So she got a job.
Girl, that's 1 and 2. That's 1 and 2 that I can relate to right there. Go ahead.
She's, in a relationship with a child's father. In the beginning of the book, you have one that kind of, they're divorced. She has a beautiful son. She has a wonderful career, but she still kind of holds a flame for her ex, who has gone on with his life and gotten married. So, you have that dynamic there too. And their characters, they are definitely a group of women that I wish I could like clone and make real because they're cool women. But they are definitely relatable women, so I've been told.
And I think that's so vital in being able to connect with your reader. You have to be relatable. You need to write about something that your reader can relate to. That's me personally. Because I'm gonna put the book down if I feel like not that it has to tell my life story, but I need to be able to relate to it in some shape or fashion. And speaking in being able to relate, the term urban fiction, removing the Christian, but just the term urban fiction, is that defined by its subject, skin color of the author?
Well, I classify it as urban, meaning us, African American, and in the rankings for Amazon, it's actually under African American Christian fiction. So I would say yes, but I do know some Christian fiction authors who they don't write urban. They just write, Christian romance. So their characters are either, Caucasian, or one girl wrote Asian. They're multi-ethnic. So for me, I stick to the African American Christian fiction or what's termed urban.
Why do you feel that, throw nobody's name out there, because I do like to call people out and put them on the spot, but when they saw it was okay that I had Fred on the show, and it was okay that I had James Turner on the show, but when they saw urban Christian fiction, they said, Nakia, really? Like, really? First of all, do you read that? How are you going to conduct this interview? How can you relate to this guest? Why do you feel that people shy away from the genre Christian fiction?
Honestly, because I think they don't understand it. When you say Christian fiction, most people think, okay, well, this is a lot of rules. This is this is people going to church, and this is about hymns and, a boring type of book.
Right.
And it's why I started my blog, actually, because I picked up an urban Christian fiction book on accident. I didn't want any explicit violence or cursing in the book I was reading. So I kind of just floated towards it, picked it up on accident, read the book in 2 days, and was like, oh my God, what is this? And then I started devouring books. And then I was like, other people need to know about this. Like, this is some good stuff. All, Sunday sermons in literature. This is some juicy stuff. So that's why I started the blog, because I wanted others to know, hey, there's something out there. The Christian lifestyle is not boring. We have fun. We read books. We got stuff going on in our lives because we're human. The only difference between me or any other believer and someone that's a non-believer, or someone that's, just a person without a religious foundation, the only difference is that I have a Savior to go to. But I still have to do, I have things going on in my life like everyone else. And those things come across not only in my book, but in a lot of our reading, a lot of our writing. And people they don't know. They're thinking that, okay, if I pick up this book, I'm going to have a lot of rules. I don't want a retelling of the Bible in the book. And that is so not what it is.
What would you say would be one of the most surprising discoveries for you in creating your books?
I'm sorry, I broke up. Say again.
What would you say would be one of the most surprising discoveries for you when creating your books?
I think one of the most surprising discoveries has been the fact that the books, so when you sit down and you write a book and you're writing a story, I know where it's going for me. But what surprises me is that others will pick up the book and say, oh my God, this has blessed me. Or, oh my God, I related so much to this character. Or I cried when I read this scene. And for me, that is surprising because when you sit down to write it, I'm just telling the story. I'm telling you, kind of like a movie plays in my head. And I'm telling you everything I hear, everything I see, how everything feels. But to have someone else come along and read it and have a either completely different reaction sometimes or a deeper reaction than I thought out when I was writing it, that is completely surprising and such a blessing.
Oh. Yeah, I can understand. I can understand that, especially when you said that you have your journal and you use or your little notebook. You use that to, kind of get your thoughts together and start composing. And you mentioned, how between the first and the second book, you knew that you were going to start the second, and I'm talking about the sequel. You knew that you were going to start the second one, but you had no idea starting the third one until, you started to hear what people had to say about words, the words that were on the pages. It's not. I don't know if I would call that surprising. To me, that would be just inspiration and so much motivation for me to just press a little harder. And I get excited when I see that's your moment. For me, it's the little things that I let slip by, like playing a song on the show, and that show gets picked up on, mainstream radio, and then the artist is, commending me for, breaking their song, or, that's motivation for me to, and sometimes it's the tracks that you least expect to get picked up. So that's what the surprise has been for me. But that's the motivation and the inspiration for me to keep, just pushing and doing what I do. This is a question I have to ask all of my listeners because you find yourself just immersed in so many words. And I know that your vocabulary expands each book that you get the opportunity to write. But what was an early experience where you learned that language had power?
Oh, wow. I was in 8th grade. And I was in 8th grade. I was in junior high school at the time. And we did a unit on poetry. And I strung together some stuff and wrote, like, we all did, write a poem about so-and-so. So I wrote the poem. But when I spoke the words, because everyone had to read their piece out loud, when I spoke the words, that's when they came alive to me. And it was surreal. It was like, wow. Kind of like an out-of-body experience. Because the message behind, and I don't remember what the poem was, but knowing me at that time, it was probably something political. And, but, it spoke
Sounds
to
like
me.
In the 8th grade, yeah.
Yeah, I was very political, during that time. But I realized that I had a voice. And that not only I had a voice, but like so many of us in the class, like we had a voice. Because I grew up in a time period where, kids were seen and not heard. So for us to have a voice meant power.
Wow. Each author that I have on the show, I want to say, and I know Fred is still on, and I don't know if James Turner is listening, but I would just like to say thank you to all of you because I feel like, and I was mentioning this to you in the beginning. I feel like you all are being placed in my life for a reason because as Fred and I talk, and I mentioned to you, I have a lot of books that are within me that I just can't stop long enough to sit down and get them out. But your eighth grade flashback kind of took me, back to probably sixth or seventh, eighth grade as well, when I found my passion for writing. And it wasn't until I got older that I put the pen down and got so immersed in so many other things, that I forgot all about that passion, And so this month right here has been very interesting because I found myself, recording. Because for some reason, when I get out of the shower, all of these thoughts come to my head. I don't know what it is about the shower and the bathroom, but I get out and I get all of these thoughts come out. And I have to record because if I come out the bathroom, I forget. So I always make sure there's a voice recorder in the bathroom with me so that I can that's the way I jot down my ideas. I like the notebook that you mentioned. So Michael's might start being my best friend as well. And Fred mentioned the outline. I think that is very important as well because I told him, I already know. I know the beginnings and I know the ends. It's that good stuff in the middle that I'm missing. Or I know the end and I know the title, but it's the beginning and that good stuff in the middle that I'm missing. So you guys are really motivating to me as well. Because you've allowed me to find, a passion that I lost many years ago and kind of bring it back where it needs to be. So I'll thank you. Thank you for that. What one thing would you give up to become a better writer? I think we lost our guest. Hold on. I got Fred on the line, though. Fred, you still there?
Yo, what's that? I am.
I think Chanel may have had some technical difficulties, so I'm going to hang out with you until she comes back.
Cool, that's what's up.
So you all who are just tuning in, you're live right now on Endie Fiya. Our guest tonight is urban Christian fiction author Nell. And also on the line right now, we have novelist FLB. Yes.
Hey. What's going on?
So what are you working on right now? What are you working on?
Really, right now, working on a lot of things. Really, well, first of all, I'm working on trying to, get better. Cause I had a medical scare last week, so I'm working on taking things in slow motion, getting better in that aspect. But then also in the interim, I'm also working on book 2 of my healing series. That's going to be that's called A Road Less Traveled. So that's what I'm working on that. I'm also working on some other stuff with the magazine that I'm a staff writer for. So I do an article with them at least once a month. Let's see, what else am I doing? Oh, I'm working on a military /.
Hello?
Ah, there she is.
Oh, there I am. Hi, I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened.
Oh.
I was asking before we got interrupted, what one thing would you give up to become a better writer?
My day job. Don't tell anybody.
Oh, I concur.
Yeah, don't tell anybody. I know it's like all over now. And the whole world hears me.
Yes, I completely understand. I actually have a few coworkers that I get along with, so they follow me on social media, and they're like, you're really big in this entertainment thing. Like, why don't you just stop working? Because I haven't reached the level that I need to be at yet. But in the meantime, I still have to deal with you guys. So, yeah, I think that would be the one thing I would definitely get rid of and hope to do so very soon. is that regular 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Because I find my passions are elsewhere now, and so I pray that that will take place for you in the very near future.
And I'll do the same for you. We'll partner in prayer together.
Yes.
We're two together.
Definitely. Oh, yes. Does your family support your career as a writer?
Yes, they do. Actually, my husband is a great supporter. He's my breakdown person, my setup person. You know, he's there when I hit a wall and feel like I can't write, and I'm screaming, I don't know what to do. He's definitely there. My kids are all teenagers, so for them, it's just like, all right, Mom, I'll help you sell these books. Will you buy me some shoes after? So for them, it's a little different for the kids. My mom's a big supporter. She actually is one of the few people that have all of my books signed, of course, because she said, you have to sign it. I'm like, but it's me, Mom. But yeah, they're definitely, and I think that's important as well, the support system, having, people in your corner, because all reviews aren't necessarily good reviews, because the book is not for everybody. So
right.
Having a good support system is vital to success.
This is one of those times where my show needs to be longer. So I probably have more questions to ask you. But like I tell everybody, once you're on the show one time, your family, I will stalk your social media. I will know any and everything there is to know about you, when it's going on. I will continue to support you. I will continue to promote everything that you have going on, and you're welcome back on the show at any time. But I do want to go ahead and give you the opportunity. I want to give you the opportunity now to go ahead and get all of your contact information out, all your social media, your website, so that anybody who's listening now, if they want to purchase, if they want that autographed copy, if they want to know where you're going to be, if you're going to be in their city, and if they want to know how they can become a character in your book, those who are listening live now and those who may come back and listen to the playback shows, because, again, you all know that we're on several different platforms that the floor is yours now to go ahead and get all of your contact information out.
Well, thank you so much for this honor, and it has been such a blessing. You can find me on my website, SHENELLINC, that's ChanelInc.com. There you will find out what I'm doing on a monthly basis. It's also a blog, so I interview other Christian artists. I also review books, and I give some writing advice. We'll have a merchandise store opening up in the summer. Super excited about that. You can find me on Amazon. I'm an Amazon author, so you would just go on Amazon, type in SHE space NELL, and there you will find all of the books that are for purchase. If you're an ebook reader, they're 99 cents. Of course, if you would like a paperback copy and you're in the Tampa Bay area, you just social media me when you get your copy, and I will meet you somewhere, and we can have coffee and talk. My Facebook is, again, SHENELL, and my Instagram is author_she_Nell. And I would love for any of you to reach out. You can definitely pick my brain. If you're a fellow writer and you're kind of stuck in the rut and you want some writing advice, definitely hit me up on the website, because I have some coaching opportunities open up as well.
Awesome. So if you cannot if you cannot make or find her on every one of those platforms that she just mentioned, at least reach out and find her on one, preferably Amazon, so you can purchase those books. All right?
Yes.
Thank you again for being here with me this evening, because you could have been anywhere, yet you took the time to be here with me and keep me company. So thank you so much. Make sure that you're tuning in on Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for New Music Mondays. Tulip Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm not looking at the calendar, so I don't know who's going to be here. And again on Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I think my partner in crime from Raleigh, North Carolina, who's heading up a huge tour that I'm a part of next month. I think he's here next Thursday. Either way, if you can't make them all, do not miss them all. Make sure you're following the show on all social media at Endie Fiya. That's ENDIEFIYA. Make sure you're following me on all social media as well. That's Girl in Motion, GRLNMOTION. And as always, I want to leave you with this quote. Poetry, plays, novels, music. They are the cry of the human spirit, trying to understand itself and make sense of our world. That's L.M. Eliot. Until Monday at 7 p.m., have a good night.